here's something that happened over last weekend, I believe, the weekend before last, where there was a 3-day Python programming conference at the Santa Clara Convention Center called PyCon, and a female developer with who works for a company called SendGrid, Adria Richards. She was at the conference, and behind her were these two men who worked for Playhaven, which was another tech company at this conference. And these guys apparently were making off-color jokes about dongles. Dongle is like it's a tech term for like it's a piece of like it's like it's accessory. It's what you use, I believe, to like it's a
Basically, they were being incredibly boring and unfunny.
yeah. It was just
Yeah,
it's
please.
silly,
Just really stupid.
silly bro grammar humor. I mean,
Is it really at the level of bro?
that's what they're
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what they are.
Really, really
It's a dongle
unfunny.
joke. I mean, they said something about forking their dongle or something. Both are tech
I'm proud
terms.
to say I have no idea what any of these
Both are
things
tech
mean.
terms. So basically, what she did was she heard them talking about this, and she felt like this was inappropriate. She did not like it one bit. She turned around, snapped a photo of them really quick with her phone, uploaded the photo on Twitter, and contacted with at PyCon, who was running the conference, telling them about it. They came in, they took these two guys aside, told them, what you're doing is inappropriate. It's bothering other attendees. Don't do this. That's it. That's what happened. People started talking about it online. People started, it was public shaming. I should know about public shaming.
You are the public shaming impresario,
Yes.
the sensei of shame.
Yes. So basically, because everyone was talking about this online, Playhaven, which employed the two guys, felt something had to be done. So they fired one of the developers, the developer who actually made the joke. Now, I think this was a wrong move. Terrible way to handle this. Horrible PR. Whoever's running their public relations should be fired immediately, because that is a dumb move. What you do here, and I'm no PR expert, this seems like common sense here, as I lose my...
Good PR is usually common sense.
Yeah, this is just common sense here. What you do is you take the guy aside, you talk to him, and you make it very public that your company will do something to a hiring initiative to get even just to teach more kids to develop on how to become programmers. Just do something like that. Get females into it. That's basically what I would do if I ran this company.
I would say next time try to be funny.
But like there's
Can I just say
in the tech world they have a problem. It's a guys club.
The
tech world is a guys club, unfortunately, and it's horrible. And this is why it's a guys club.
Well,
because of the bro culture there.
So is there anything more? Because I had some thoughts on this, but are you still going through?
Yeah, I'm
the story?
still
Oh,
going
there's
through
more
the
to
story.
it.
There's
Okay,
a
go
little
ahead.
more. So 4chan got a hold of it. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. 4chan got a hold of it. But what more interesting to me was Y Combinator, which runs the Hacker News website. So Hacker News got involved in this. Hacker News is this big, it's like a Reddit for people who run startups and who work as developers. They got involved with it, which was really, doesn't look good for the tech world that these people who are so into tech are talking about are talking about the girl with her name was Adria Richards. I'm all over with this story. Sorry about it.
No worries. Take your time.
Adria Richards, and so they started a campaign. Reddit's men's rights subreddit forum got involved. Just all the worst kinds of people.
That is just so chumpish.
And so there was a denial of service attack on SendGrid, who employs Adria Richards. And so basically, SendGrid's CEO publicly fired her. They put out a tweet saying how she's no longer with the company. She's been terminated. Put on a big explanation on Facebook. Just another, just why would you handle it like that? So basically, we got one silly, dumb, off-color joke that you should not be saying in a public place when you're representing the company you work for. You got a case of someone turning around and snapping a photo and publicly shaming these individuals on Twitter. But, she didn't post their names, any contact details. It was just a photo of two guys. If you didn't know them personally, you would never have a way to do anything about it, to tell them what they did was wrong. And now because of this, you have two people who are fired and two companies that look terrible in the.
I think though what's disturbing to me about this is that it's just this whole ludicrous chain of reactions. To be honest, I just want to also think the important addendum to add, which makes this take everything about this story is stupid, and how it's taking this incredibly ugly turn because of course as soon as this gets out, she's starting to get rape threats and all. And this is like this whole other part of the culture online, which is so disgusting and disturbing in and of itself. And what you do at Public Shaming, you highlight those types of things. And that to me is completely different. So I have a problem with every part of this because, to be honest with you, it's like, yeah, you read about it. A couple of, dorky guys are making stupid jokes. They were in no way aimed at her. They had nothing to do with her. And frankly, like, okay, so I admit my bias would be, why does she even care to begin with? But, at any rate, she did. That's fine. That's great. Why are we at a point where, where is this missing? Like, so turn around and say, hey, guys, like, what are you doing? You're being disgusting.
I agree.
Okay, stop it. They probably would have stopped. So first, I think there's this real inappropriate kind of like immediate recourse to, I'm going to post pictures of people because they're saying silly things. I think that's off. Then the company's response, firing the guy, is insane. Then she gets fired, which is insane. And now she's getting threats, which is disgusting and despicable.
I think the two employers come out looking worse than anybody, to be honest.
I think employers look reactive and stupid, but I do think that there is a legitimate question as to where are we getting to a point, and I want to be really clear, this is totally distinct from what you do, because you take things like the only point you would get into the story yourself would be
I would screenshot the tweets that are being sent
threats
to
her,
yes.
Because that is the truly, that is the beyond the pale, despicable behavior that needs to be called out immediately.
What Michael's talking about, by the way, is
shamed.
publicshaming.tumblr.com.
Which is Matt's great website.
Thank you.
But at any rate, what I'm saying, though, is that before you get to that, why is it that, it seems like there's no part in this process from her to them. Like, first, these guys are being stupid and unaware. Then instead of saying, instead of saying, hey, guys, stop that, she totally escalates unnecessarily. Then the companies fire. It seems like nobody's reflecting here.
I have something to say about that, though.
Nobody's being reflective.
I'm not saying these two guys would do it, because by all means, the guy who got fired posted something on that Hacker News website.
Right.
And he seemed very apologetic. He didn't blame her really. He just wished she would have talked. She would have talked to him.
Right.
He was actually really nice on it. I was pretty shocked that he didn't take it out on her.
Well, they look like really nice, cream puffy guys.
But however, there's definitely a culture here where I've seen before. Again, not saying these two guys would have done it, but it's definitely something she might have had in the back of her mind. What if she turned around and said something, and because of just how this bro culture is, where they feed off of each other, they did start directing their jokes and their comments towards her for just turning around
that's a good
and
point.
saying something.
That's a good point.
I mean, I'm sure she's a smart woman. She seems very intelligent. I'm sure these things all went through her head. I'm sure she just didn't aimlessly turn around and decide to snap a photo.
I guess it's also for me. I totally own that there's gender privilege here for sure. So that's a given. But I also wonder, just literally reading what they said was so silly and innocuous. Like, I don't know how you get through I hear stuff on the subway that is so much more extreme than anything remotely compared, or in college, or at a conference, or anywhere. I don't know how you get through life, and if that type of thing upsets you.
But when someone's on the subway or in a
I've heard
college
this type
hall,
of thing at a conference too.
No, yeah, but
anywhere.
But
I don't know how you could get through life being that upset by that kind of comment.
You are somewhere representing your company, though. They weren't there just as attendees.
Sure.
Their company was one of the sponsors of the event. They were there representing their company. Whether she was right or wrong to post a picture, she very well had a reason to be bothered by it.
But I think the thing that I'm getting at, though, is it's not about her being right or wrong to post a picture. It's that we're at a point where nobody is taking any time to slow down and reflect, right? Like, these guys are stupid. This is the chain. These guys are dumb and unaware. They don't reflect on the fact that they're representing a company. They make stupid, loud, obnoxious comments. She looks at them, and instead of saying, hey guys, can you quiet down, stop being whatever, she immediately, publicly shames them on Twitter for frankly something that is not really that publicly shameable. Then the companies fire both of these people. It's like, it just seems like everything is at the speed of a text message. There's no point where somebody sits down and goes, okay, we need to take a breath. We need to actually, particularly when you get to the companies and actually ending people's livelihoods, we need to calm down here and kind of figure something out.
I agree. But another thing to look at, I think, is, her getting fired because of the outpour of people complaining to this company, SendGrid. I think why did they have to take this? Why was there a negative response? I mean, look, the like mob. I don't want to call it a mob, but like the voice of many work in this situation. People complained and she got fired. But what if the people who did this took a more proactive role, and instead of trying to get her fired, there was this outcry of, why was this guy fired? Let's start a campaign to get him rehired. And then maybe
Sure.
that company would have had no choice but to rehire him.
Well, but sure, because the people do. Well, I mean,
Listen,
again,
I bet
the
she,
people
I bet
who
she
do
didn't
this.
want. I bet she didn't want this guy to get fired. I could guarantee that. She probably just wanted the conference to take them aside and talk to them. Maybe just even boot them from that one specific panel.
When you escalate something to that level,
But I'm sure
you
if-
have to know that you're putting people's livelihoods in jeopardy.
I would have never guessed they would have got fired.
I
from that.
would. I don't. I think anytime you kind of do something at that level, you're jeopardizing people's livelihoods, and I guess that's what I just wonder. And then I would say what was targeted at her. I just want to make clear again, is a totally separate. Like that's when it takes this turn to, at this point, it has to be about protecting and shielding her, because now it's turned into this, all this kind of grotesque stuff that you see online aimed at women. But I think from the beginning, it just seems like, why is nobody having like a pause and some intelligence in this process and some like, it just doesn't need to get escalated to these extremes. I just don't. I'm not impressed by anybody in this situation, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I agree. Everyone
Far
came
from
out.
impressed.
Everyone lost in that one.